Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In this video I'd like to show or give some insight into how we take MTPredictor to much higher levels, and this is why MTPredictor was designed in the first place. We do have automatic setups, you can see on our chart here, and when you're new to MTPredictor, to get you into the disciplined approach of trading and understand the concepts of risk control, etc., etc., we do encourage you to to follow these to start with. So we have a basic system which we covered in other videos, where you actually trade in the direction of our STF indicator color: blue for up, black for flat, red for down, and you trade our standard automatic setups like these. You can see here this one would produced a 3.8 hour profit. We do have losing trades here shown as history triangles, so actually there'd be a 3-hour loss here. If we go back, this setup towards the end of the day would have produced a small profit on the close. We then have another trade here again in the red STF color, a nice 3.4 hour profit. We then go back a bit further, and as you can see, a nice buy setup on this particular point here on a black STF that gave you a nice 6.6 hour profit. The idea being getting you used to trading with a small controlled risk and having trades where the profits are much larger than the losses. However, this is not what MTPredictor was actually designed to do. We're actually designed to do a bit of analysis in and around this to then take things to much higher levels. And there's a good example on the YM yesterday. In our training webinar, this was actually for Friday the 26th of September, and actually in our training webinar we were suggesting that the market was likely to rally, and I want to show you why. This is a 3-minute chart. If we actually go out to a slightly longer time frame chart on the 60-minute chart, you can see we had a TS3 buy set up here, so that indicated or was suggesting the large trend was up, therefore the market was likely to rally. Also, if we go to the daily chart, particularly on the ES, this is what we were particularly looking for on the ES. We were looking at this and talking about our automatic DP sell at the high here coming into its first target. In other words, there was likely to be DP support. If I just clear this off, I'll put the DP target on here, which was the DP off the prior swing low here. That's where the target was for that level. And as you can see, the market came down into this daily support level and was likely to rally. Now, before the rally actually unfolded on Friday, we actually said live in our training webinar that because we're at daily DP support, a rally was likely. In fact, John was actually saying that he wouldn't be at all surprised if we got a strong rally to the balance today. So in other words, you knew in advance that you were at a larger time frame support. So when you came down to the 3-minute chart, you were anticipating the market to rally. So in other words, we're looking for buy setups. So this is the 3-minute chart of the ES, and as you can see, we didn't get any buy setups on the ES. In fact, we've got a sell setup there, which will obviously be ignored. However, we know that all the other USE minis tend to follow in the same direction. In other words, if you're anticipating a rally on one, you're more than likely to get a rally on the others as well. They don't follow exactly, but the tendency is that. So of course, when you get a TS4 buy setup like this, when you're anticipating the market is going to rally, therefore it's a good one to take. So now can you see how this actually puts this trade in the direction of the larger trend? You're anticipating a rally, therefore it's a good one to take. If I zoom out a bit, I want to show you again a bit more power of the MTPredictor software program. If we're anticipating a strong rally, the best trade setup we have is what we call a holy grail trade setup. That is where we're anticipating a wave 3 type rally, because a wave 3 is the strongest and longest swing in a completed 5-wave sequence. So in other words, we're anticipating that this correction here is a wave 2. The initial rally up there is anticipated to be a wave 1. So what we can do, and this is the trick and the power of the software, in that we can project these levels in advance. So I'll just put a bit of white space on the right hand side, just show you how we can do this. So there's our initial setup. I'll just do a bit of space on the top. We can have additional tools up here that shows levels where the market's likely to go. So now we're anticipating a wave 3. So we pick the up wave, WPT up wave 3. We click on the start of the sequence, which is here. We click on the end of wave 1, which we're anticipated here. The end of wave 2, which is where our ABC correction for our TS4 is likely to come in here. And then you can see that's our typical wave 3. So in other words, when we actually place our analysis on, we're not anticipating the market going to this level, we're actually anticipating it going right the way up to here to that particular level there. In other words, rather than a 3.8R profit that you saw earlier, it's more than likely being anticipated 9.9R, or almost 10 times greater than the initial risk. And if we zoom forward, in fact actually if I take the right hand space off so we get the whole of the chart there, so you can see it in a bit more detail, there you can see exactly what happened. In other words, the market rallied from here right up into our anticipated target. Remember, that was on the chart in advance. This is the power of the tools we have. They're leading indicators, they're leading areas of where you anticipate the market going to go in advance. So in other words, rather than just taking the automatic setups they come through, you'd have taken one trade up there, and that trade would have been long off what was pretty much the low of the day there, you can see, up into taking profit at what was pretty much the high of the day as well, for an absolute massive trade. And obviously these buy setups here, as the market was coming back off this anticipated level, you'd be ignoring as well. If you wanted just to double check that, I'll just clear it all off. If I right mouse click as the market went up to this high and I do Elliott wave major, our automatic tools and the software found this exact same swing. In other words, there's the wave 1, there's the wave 2, up into the wave 3 there, with the high right of the typical wave 3 WPT. So hopefully this has been a good short video to show you how to take MTPredictor to the higher levels. In other words, MTPredictor was designed in the first place by myself, not as an automated trading system, not to have every single one of these automatic signals traded. These signals are on the charts just to give you areas where you think the market's going to make reversals. In other words, it's areas where you basically look at the higher time frame chart and do your larger degree support and resistance analysis to then take the trades, take these automatic setups, not all of them, but the ones that are in your anticipated direction, in other words your larger degree direction, and then also to then be able to amend the trade management of these again to then fit in with your larger degree analysis. And this is a great example here, because rather than coming out at this first target here, which would have been a nice 3.8R profit, we know to run it up into the higher time frame, the typical wave 3 WPT level, because we're anticipating a larger degree rally, and that increases the profit from 3.8R up to 9.9R. Again, that was all defined in advance. That's the beauty of this. This was defined in advance by our daily support zone on our ES, and there it was. That was on our chart in advance. In fact, that support zone has been on our chart there for days and days before the market even got there. So hopefully this has been a good example to show you what is possible with the MTPredictor software program, and just to give you a little indication of how it's best used. It's not best used just to trade the automatic setups blindly, although that's what we suggest when you first come into the software, just to find your feet, just to get used to discipline, risk control, and our position sizing that we use. Then once you get used to that, we then take you to much higher levels and say to you, right, okay, we don't trade all these setups, we then trade the setups in the context of the large degree trend, and as such it will allow you to not only just decide which setups to take, but also will allow you to actually change your trade management strategies as well to vastly increase the profits on some of these trades that are in the direction of the large degree trend. And this is how MTPredictor was designed right in the first place by myself over 13 years ago now, and actually the basis of my own trading I did many years ago, starting over 26 years ago, to basically highlight areas of where you want to take a trade, but that trade should be filtered to be in the direction of the large degree trend, and then also managed again with your anticipation of what the large degree trend and large degree support and resistance levels should be. So this is a little hint to show you how we teach and how we allow you to, or show you how to take MTPredictor to much higher levels than you just see as these bare automatic setups. So it's a growth process. So we bring you into MTPredictor, teach you a system that gets you up and running nice and slowly, then show you more advanced techniques that you can use to take the software to much higher levels. And in this video I haven't even talked about our VSA setup, which is another favorite trade setup of mine that you'll find some more information about on the website. So that's MTPredictor, or what you can anticipate to get from MTPredictor once you become more experienced with the software.